How can you be sure it's safe to contract a software development company without getting screwed over? Today we're talking about what to look for in software development quotes. Hello and welcome. My name is Dale Richards, CEO of App Creative, an app development company on the Silicon Slopes of Utah. We're on a mission to build apps that change the world. If you want to build apps, grow your SaaS business, and make money doing cool software entrepreneur-related stuff, start now by subscribing and hitting the bell. As a founder, probably one of the things that causes you the most anxiety is signing the contract with a software vendor to build your app. It's a lot of money. It's a big commitment. What happens if you pick the wrong vendor? What if they do a bad job or they cheat you out of your money? A lot of the indicators on whether a vendor is trustworthy is in their quote or their contract. So let's talk about some things to look out for. So the first would be a quote that is too low. Sometimes the price may be reflective of the quality. This is by far the most dangerous. Many vendors will quote you a very, very low price only because they want your business. They want you to sign a contract for the work so that they can start working. But as soon as the work begins to progress, you'll collectively discover more complex issues that require more work, which in turn means the price will be raised. And it's hard to say whether or not they're doing this intentionally. Some probably have good intentions, but it's difficult to tell. Any company that has experience building software should know that the process will naturally lead you to discover new complex issues, and the price will rise. So in good conscience, they shouldn't be trying to lowball you. They should be confident that their price, though not always the lowest, is the most reliable. So if you're paying anything less than $30K, you might as well just burn your money, because you're probably going to get a poor result that won't be usable. And that really is a tragedy. So make sure that you are looking for a reliable quote to find the vendor that's right for you. That's if the quote is too low. Now let's talk about if the quote is too high. There are some development companies that have experienced what we just mentioned above in terms of quoting too low and then being left to manage the app and eat the cost of additional development. It's not fun. We know, we've done it, we've been there. So these companies, they hedge their bets by quoting you very high prices, like $250K. There are apps out there that cost $250K legitimately to build, but those apps are not an MVP, or if they are, they're like an MVP for an enterprise. So those apps are more like enterprise quality apps with a different level of software development rigor compared to what you need to get your MVP to market. If you're a software entrepreneur working on an MVP, you should be willing to spend a reasonable $70K, not a crippling $250K. Another thing to look out for is if the vendor quotes the price to you too soon. Every once in a while, you hear of a vendor who is so eager to get your business that they'll turn around to give you a price for everything after one, maybe two meetings. The reason this is something that you want to look out for is because there's no way that they can know what the app will really cost to build through one or two meetings. They wouldn't have explored enough of the app concept with you to make sure that it's something that they can handle and want to spend their time working on. So be really careful when it's just like, oh yeah, of course, here's your quote. Did they really know? One surprising red flag to look out for is a comprehensive quote. Like a quote that takes it from A to Z, from requirements to delivery without really doing any discovery. So if someone is quoting you the price of all of your design, development, testing to release, that also actually is a red flag. And the reason why is because they haven't really done the discovery up front to know what to build. It's kind of similar to what we talked about with just giving you the price or the quote too soon, except that here we're just saying they're going to quote you all of everything in one package. So one thing that you can do to mitigate that is to get quotes that are in stages, broken down into kind of little mini projects. Some companies will do a lot of exploration for free up front. And if they're willing to do that, great. If you can find a company that will make time for multiple sessions to gather requirements and explore features for free, that's a solid indicator that they are confident that they know what they're doing. Enough to risk the time that they've spent with you, should you choose to work with another company. So this can be a good practice, but exploration is also work, and you should pay for work. So if they gather your requirements and don't give them to you and you don't pay for it, now someone else has the requirements for your app, and that's obviously not good. Another thing to look for is vague wording. I was reviewing a quote for a friend just to give her kind of a second opinion, a sounding board, and as I reviewed the scope of work, the price, and the other language in this quote, I came across a clause that basically said, this price won't be the actual price. A huge red flag. They were quoting things as if they were making like a fixed price contract, But then looking at the fine print, it actually said that my friend was just buying a certain number of developer man days worth of work. So that's two completely different things. So please be careful and read through the fine print. As tedious as it may sound, don't accept language that lets the vendor get off the hook. Otherwise, you're going to pay for it. Another thing to look out for is fluffy non-content. You may come across some quotes that have filler material to make it look like the quote says more than it really does. Different software vendors might include information about their development life cycles, their processes, their values, or their company history. And there's nothing inherently wrong with this material, but it's not a quote. So don't let your vendor make you feel like they understand your needs by filling your quote up with things that have nothing to do with you or your product concept. It may be hard to get started on the path of app development when you don't know what you should be looking for, the good or the bad. So in the process of developing an app, you will have to review several quotes. But now you have some ideas of some things to look for. Hopefully this will help you. If you're ready to start developing your app, let us know. We'd love to work with you on your next project. We'll talk to you soon. See you next time here on App Creative.